Hey everybody, Eric with Solobox. So I'm still out here working on Biff. I just finished putting the wheels on, and initially I only bought 4 of them. I ended up going back yesterday and picking up a 5th one to put towards the center here. It's just kind of sketchy having this thing way up in the air like that. If one of these wheels was to buckle, like that one over there did, the entire tool would come over on me. And it weighs just shy of 900 pounds, and I definitely do not want to see that happen again. I was really concerned while it was laying on its face that maybe I had done some damage to this tool, and sure enough, when I went to clamp this down after I got it standing again, it wouldn't clamp down. And I was looking at this and I was like, oh no, it had this huge looking like bow to it, and I was like, oh no, I ruined the tool. Well, what it turned out to be was that this set screw that I put on here was actually, this had come up and it was buried underneath of it. And so I don't think there's any real damage to the tool, but I can definitely tell that things are way out of adjustment. This won't fit under here at this end. If you come down to this end, it'll actually rock around. So as it makes its way down here, eventually it won't fit underneath. And so right about there is where it stops. So I'm gonna have a little bit of adjusting to do. The bending leaf also has adjustment to it, but it appears to have not changed. It looks like it's about the same all the way down. What really sucks is I had just put this back together from going through and dialing everything in again. So I'm gonna have to pull all of these teeth off of here. And I built myself actually a really cool tool that I can measure exactly where this is all at in thousandths, which is super accurate and helps a lot. So more than likely I'm gonna end up having to dial this in and all the rods again, but that's okay. It won't take all that long. And once it's done, it's done. So, you know, when this fell over, I was really sort of sick. I didn't even come out here the next day. I was just like, oh man. It was Super Bowl Sunday, so I ended up working inside the house and watching the game and just kind of put this off while I thought about, you know, how am I going to get this thing back on its feet by myself. And so I took that time, just kind of slowed down and came up with the game plan. One thing I've noticed is, you know, when I think something really bad has happened, a lot of times it turns out to not be bad. It ends up being beneficial to me. And the benefit that I found in this was that, you know, I was really going to chintz out. What I was going to do was I wasn't going to buy this piece, this angle iron that I ended up spending $60 on a 20-foot chunk of this stuff. I didn't want to do that. I was going to put the rear wheels onto these pieces, which used to bolt onto the back of the tool here. This is really what I wanted to do. And because it fell over, it ended up kind of pushing me into a position where I ended up doing what I really wanted to do to begin with and didn't. So what I had planned on doing was I was just going to put 2 wheels to the back and then 2 wheels next to one another up front here. And, you know, I'm really glad that it fell over, because I went and spent the $60 on more on this angle iron, and it's really done right now. Whereas I would have done a half-assed job before. This concrete, if you look at this line, one side of the concrete is different than the other. It's got a slope to it. And so I tried to do all of the work over here where I was just on one big piece. You know, doing a tripod, getting 3 sides to sit nice and level is easy to do. To try to do that 4th and then that 5th and get everything to where they're all sitting on the ground is kind of difficult. You can actually see where this one I had to cut it back off and use a little bit of spacing underneath of it to get everything where the weight was evenly dispersed. So now the good part that I was talking about, by buying a full 20 foot of this angle iron, I can now actually fix, look at this. This thing is just sketchy. It's up on 4 wheels and you don't want that coming over. And this one's the same way. It's on 4 wheels, and I mean, it's just begging to fall over. So I'm going to use what I've got left of this stuff, and I'll recycle the wheels, but I will give myself a little bit better footprint. You can kind of see why it happens is because the cabinet is wider at the top than it is at the bottom. And so I'm gonna bring it out a few inches. I probably won't add anything sticking out the back, but I'll definitely at least come out underneath it here with a wheel. So hopefully I can get rid of that rocking every time I open a drawer. Or actually, this is my welding bench. I just hate having it moving around like that. So in something bad, I find some good. And in this case, it's just gonna mean that I'm gonna make some improvements to the shop. Oh, here's another idea. You know, this thing takes up a ton of space. And what I think I'm gonna do is pull the top off of my workbench here. And I'm gonna cut a hole in here and make it so that these pieces can be put into the bench. And then I'm gonna move this tool whenever I need it. I'll just pull it out of storage and stick it right up on top of the bench, and I can just ixnay this entire thing. I don't like the way that the legs stick way out. It takes up way too much space, and it's just uncalled for. So I think that's another project that I'm gonna do. I'll probably spend the rest of the day just working on trying to get some of that stuff done in here around the shop. There's still a lot of snow on the ground outside, and so I'm probably not really gonna wanna go anywhere today. Oh, actually I have to. I've got 2 things I have to ship, but that's just down to the corner and back. So I'll go do that, spend the rest of the day in here working on trying to get some of this stuff dialed in. So anyway, Eric's Soul Box. I'll talk to you guys later.